I had a really weird dream last night.
Alright, tell us about your dream.
Talking about biting people, and it was like some sort of like zombie thing, but like when they bit you, you didn't turn into a zombie, they just ate you. And they were like kind of weird Silent Hill looking zombies, and there was like different types. Like there was ones that were really hard to kill.
Yeah.
Ones that are kind of the ones that find strength in numbers, but they're pretty easy to take out, but they can bombard you. And then there's ones that run really fast, and I can't remember like who I was. I don't think I was me. I was some other protagonist, and there was a group of people, and they had infiltrated our house or whatever, so we had to find a new place to live. And we went to this like restaurant, and nobody in that restaurant even knew what was going on the outside world. Like somehow they had managed to just completely ignore whatever was going on. We're like, you guys need to get out of here. Like these zombies
Dude,
are
that's the worst thing is like there's no solidarity there.
Yeah, and then I'm like, how are you people alive? And how long have you been in here, like drinking beer and eating or whatever? And then of course the zombies come in because they're following us for some reason, and then we're like using forks as like ammunition and just like throwing him at him and killing him, and all these people are like so amazed, but they're not like scared. They're like, wow, do it again! We're like, get out of here! And then I think my character finally dies. Like I get like kind of overwhelmed, and I ran out of ammo, and for some reason they're not dying. And I'm like, what's going on? It was working so well. And then like my character falls, and then like I feel like teeth in my head. And then I feel like someone yelled cut, and like the whole thing was a movie.
Really?
And like everyone's like,
what a twist!
And I was like, okay. And then I woke up to go pee, and then I don't remember what else happened after.
That's the worst thing is like when the nightmare comes to an end, and like you wake up after that. I hate that.
I was like, it feels so real. Like this was. I guess I believed it was real the whole time, and then I was confused.
Have you shaved off all of your hair to see if you have bite marks on your head?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
Your mind makes it real. Hello and welcome back, everyone, to the Cassette Lounge podcast. On this podcast, we tend to try to just let you sit down and just enjoy a conversation between myself, RJ, and my frequent guest, Jake.
That's not true. I'm the co-host. Stop underselling me. This is the 12th time.
On today's episode, we have a special guest star, the lovely Coral. What a weird name. Coral, would you like to introduce yourself to the audience? Keep in mind the audience is a bunch of fucktards.
My name is Coral M. The M stands for motherfucking. So that's right. My full name is Coral Motherfucking.
Is that a biblical name?
No, I stole that from Little Karibo, so hopefully he doesn't watch this and be like, they stole my joke!
Well, I'm sad. Having Little Karibo watch our podcast is one of my, bucket list things.
Who is Little Karibo?
You don't know Little Karibo?
I don't know Little Karibo.
Yu-Gi-Oh! The Abridged.
Oh, okay. Got it.
That was one of my favorite things. I was like, I'm gonna use that because my middle name does start with an M, so if I said my full name, you might wanna scratch out the
We'll take care of it, don't worry.
I was like,
They'll probably bleep it or something or replace it with the words Bargain Brock.
I'm just gonna take your name and I'm just gonna some nondescript word, just said with a computer. It's gonna go over everything.
All right.
That's gonna be you.
I was like, oh crap, I said my full name and it's going on mine.
We like the prestige of having guests, but we don't actually like them to get anything from being on here.
I'm RJ, your wonderful, wonderful co-host, and I'm joined with my co-host Coral here.
Oh.
What is happening? Stop doing this! I exist, damn it!
I'm moved up in the world.
You want to be credited? You
Yes!
do an intro.
I do most of the work!
I've been here the whole time.
I've been here since episode 00-0. I invited you to be on here! Hey everybody, this is the co-host, Jake. As always, how you doing everybody? And today we have a not co-host but special guest. Is that a denominate? Is that like a downsizing thing? Is that what am I trying to say here? Is that less than co-host? Fuck it, we're all co-hosts. Who cares?
Whoa!
You know what? I'm Jake, co-host RJ, co-host Coral, special guest. How are you doing today?
Pretty good.
Good. That's great to hear. I'm so happy.
Are you happy to get the credit you deserve?
Yeah.
I'm gonna crack open a can of Monster here.
I'm foaming at the mouth. Do it right in the microphone.
No, but then it'll get like liquid in the microphone.
It's not a ribbon mic. It doesn't matter. Fine. Okay, let's stop segueing bullshit. Coral, you are our guest. You are our guest person.
Okay.
What would you like to say about yourself? Give yourself a little introduction.
Oh, man. I hate talking about myself.
I am a nascent thing in a godless universe. Next topic.
My birthday's in a couple days.
Wow.
I'm not excited for it. Probably wake up and cry, and then go to my sister's room, and she'll be crying too.
Aww,
We'll
sad.
just cry
We're
together.
so old now.
We're gonna just have like a existential crisis right there.
That's
Be
great.
like, what are we doing with our lives? And I used to be an artist. I was the artist formerly known as New Mistake on DeviantArt.
New mistake.
Just like Prince used to be called the artist formerly known as Prince. I'm the artist formerly known as New Mistake on DeviantArt. Let's see what else can I say.
What do you like to do? What encompasses your spare time?
Sleeping.
Sleeping.
That's pretty
Okay.
much all I do.
Same.
Sleeping and crying.
Sleeping and crying. The old tried and true. Very good.
Or watching YouTube or... I don't know, I'm not very interesting. I'm pretty boring, actually.
Aw. I'm sure you're plenty interesting.
I like how she acts like she's super boring, but she's always the life of the party when she's here.
She's flipping tables.
Mm-hmm.
She's picking fights.
Oh, I don't remember any of that.
See, if you're ever out somewhere with a group of friends and Coral's there, like, you're going to, like, look away, and you're going to start hearing some yelling, and you're going to see Coral just throwing tables at someone who's pissed her off.
You're going to see streaks of red and streaks of dead. Okay. We can get into some topics. Should we give her the interview?
We can.
Should we give
You do
everybody?
it.
All right. Standard cassette lounge interview. What's your favorite hentai series?
I don't watch hentai.
Okay. Next, we don't. That's
Why do we always get that answer?
Nobody ever says anything. It's very sad.
Corey was the only one, and even then he was just kissing up to me.
Yeah, he was being a little fucker. That's the only question we have. We really need to listen, this is a topic. We need to flush out the cassette lounge questionnaire.
All right.
Because this is the joke every time, without fail. What's your favorite hentai? Nothing. Okay, we don't have any more questions. Next topic, please. RJ, can you suggest? Okay, see, listen, I'm a bad interviewer, man. All right, I want to be a better interviewer. Use your journalistic integrity to fashion me a better questionnaire.
What exactly led to you wanting to be on our podcast?
Jake asked me to. And I was
All
like,
right.
okay, sure, why not? I'm a terrible conversationalist, but I'll give it a try.
What is your favorite episode of the Cassette Lounge?
So far, I've only seen the pilot, the first one in the Christmas episode, and the sixth one.
And what was your favorite episode out of those?
This is a very self-servicing question. There's nothing to be gained from this. Nobody else cares. This is a question for
It's
you
important
and me.
to me.
Well, I guess so far I liked the pilot. It was pretty good. I don't remember what all happened. I kind of skipped around when you guys were talking about things I didn't understand. Like, I don't really know what this is. I'll just kind of skip ahead a couple minutes. And
Like, there's a lot of RJ segments where he's going off about some video game, and I'm like, yes,
yeah.
this is very interesting, and this is not a conversation for me, but I'll leave it in.
Yeah, episode 0 was bad.
But so far I've just been watching it while I get ready for school because it takes me 2 hours anyway. So
Nice.
something to listen to while I'm putting on my makeup and doing my hair and eating cereal.
If you were an oscilloscope, what model of oscilloscope would you be? And could you play tennis for 2?
I don't know what a oscilloscope is.
Alright, next question. Favorite breed of dog?
These are very softball questions.
German Shepherds, I suppose.
What are the Resident Evil dogs? This is something I was thinking about the other day. Are they pinchers? Pincers? Pinchers?
I've never played Resident Evil.
Oh, really?
Sorry.
It's like the spooky. Okay, so like, I really like Rottweilers. Like, I think they're like cute. They have like little noses and they have like big mouths and they're just like these like big tanks and they're just cute and you can like snuggle them or whatever. But I don't like pinchers, even though they look exactly the same. But the pincher has like an elongated snout. Let me find a picture of it really quick. I'd pull it up.
At what point do you think Mel Gibson's career was truly in the can?
In the can?
In the can? I don't know. I can't think of anything that I've seen him in. Isn't he known for like being really profane?
Yeah.
And racist.
Hey guys, if you
That's the
want
only thing I know about.
Like crazy racist. I know that we're in an age where like that
oh, a Doberman, that's what it is.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they're alright.
No, I'm scared of them because of Resident Evil. Like, Rottweilers are known for being, like, really, really aggressive and mean, even though that's not true, and they're sweeties. And I would kiss one right now if it was in front of me, but I hate pinchers because...
Australian cattle dogs are the best breed of dog.
What the fuck is an Australian cattle dog? Let's look at this.
Or a blue heeler.
I like the really big fluffy ones. Whatever those are called.
The big mop dogs.
Yeah, the big fluffy.
What the fuck is this? It's just a rat.
But I feel bad for them when I see them in
blue
Kansas.
heelers are great.
No, Australian cattle dogs.
Yeah, they're great.
It's cute.
What is the other one?
The big fluffy mop dog.
Okay, I'm just gonna search mop dog.
Australian cattle dogs are the breed of dog
Oh.
that the dog from Mad Max, a Mel Gibson series, has. Also, yeah, I've just had several of them growing up. They're great.
Okay, back on Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
If
We
you guys
can always
want-
talk about Mel Gibson.
I don't want to talk about Mel Gibson for too long, but if you guys want to see something really interesting, go to YouTube and type in Mel Gibson voicemails. And I'm probably gonna cut this out. Okay, there's a lot of layers to this.
the voicemails to his like wife or
Yeah, his
ex-wife or
ex-wife.
whatever. Yeah.
How do you segue that? How do you asterisk that?
To our listeners, if you would ever be interested in hearing the darker, seedy underbelly of your favorite celebrities from 20, 30 years ago, listen to the old voicemails, the leaked voicemails from Mel Gibson to his ex-wife. Now, there's some very heavy language in here that we at the Cassette Lounge do not approve of. Mainly some use of racial slurs and some mild slurs with gender connotations to them. But it's some dark and messed up stuff, and it's really genuinely from an academic standpoint very interesting to listen to. I highly recommend anyone who's doing their research on how bad celebrities can be, listen to those Mel Gibson voicemails.
This is a good topic. We're segueing off of that into something we can actually talk about. How, RJ, you and me are the same in the way that we collect these characters. What do you get from that? What do you get from watching strange? Strange is mean. How would you describe these people first of all? How would you describe?
Give me some examples of characters I've
How would you
collected.
describe like Chris Chan or something like that?
Just describe as people that I don't want to be.
Okay.
So, like, that's basically it. Like, to me, I've got an academic interest in people who either clearly don't fully understand social conventions.
Yeah.
Which I don't like to give too much shit for, considering like that's part of like a diagnosable, like condition.
Yeah.
But people who don't fully understand social conventions, or people who seriously just have no filter and just are kind of assholes, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm interested in people who are what I do not want to be. So, I think about Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson isn't cringy, I guess, if that's the word, we'd use for these sort of things.
Yeah.
But Mel Gibson, to me, has just as much academic interest, because it's like, okay, yeah, here's this person that we thought was super great for a while, and then, now no one wants anything to do with him because we just know that, he's a flaming asshole who can't stop being an asshole.
Yeah.
Similarly, you've got Chris Chan. Chris Chan doesn't understand social conventions, so that's already interesting. Like, because it's not even like, oh, I get amusement from it.
Yeah.
I'm genuinely
it's not amusement in the slightest. It's like,
I'm genuinely just like, oh my god, like, this stuff exists, and I don't want to pretend it doesn't.
Yeah.
So I've got to know about it. I've got to, and it's addicting in a way, I guess. But then also, Chris is also a total asshole. So that makes him doubly interesting.
Do you guys follow psychopaths? Have you ever looked up like the Bjork Stalker, or like have you ever seen anything Elliot Rodgers Left Behind, or Andrew Blaze?
I used to be more interested in that stuff when I was younger.
What do you get from that? Because I do. I've looked into these people. I watch their I watch their posthumous videos. These monsters. They're not even monsters. They are monsters because they're fucking murderers. But what am I trying to say here?
The fact that you think of monsters, you think of like murderers and stuff as like mustache twirling, like completely evil.
Yeah.
But a lot of these people, like even Elliot Rodgers, who was like a completely like he was a fucking asshole.
It's one of those.
But he was a normal person at some point.
They're monsters in the way that they are murderers, but at the same time, you don't want to give them that title because you look into them and they're just kind of like horribly like uncomfortable, just crazy people.
In real life, usually evil comes from people who are just kind of pathetic.
It's true. It's really true.
In movies, like the villains usually are like these super noble people, like who are like even like the completely evil people who want to like end the world or something. They usually, at least they're cool, and there's very few cool evil people in the world.
Yeah,
which is good. I mean, I don't want evil people to be like these cool people I want to emulate.
Yeah. How do you guys feel about kind of the new literary wave of conflicted villains? Do you guys like it, or do you miss the days of cookie cutter evil bad kind of archetypes?
I kind of like it, I guess.
Do you feel nostalgic over the old way it was? Like a man with a black mask and a big money bag?
I guess, but like a lot of people like sympathize with villains, I guess, because they're not perfect and they just learn things, like learn these evil behaviors from their experiences, and they don't know how to deal with it. And I guess I can see why a lot of people sympathize with villains now, but I just think it's weird that now that they're sympathizing with real life serial killers now.
That's a very strange thing to me.
I don't think that's. I don't like it. You don't treat like John Wayne Gacy like a villain in a story. You know,
right.
You know, I just feel like that's really cringy, and it
really is.
Like you can't treat them like you can a villain in a show, because you know it's not real, but there's that human element, and you know what I mean. Those are real people, and they were normal, I guess, at one point, or they were hiding it, and I don't know. I just feel like why would you? There's a difference between being interested in it and being like
infatuated,
weirdly,
like attracted.
Because like I feel like people kind of want to have that glory for themselves, like not a glory, but they want that legacy. Like people who like, do you know who Luca Magnotta is?
Luca Magnotta.
I can't remember how to pronounce his last name. It's
I'll look it up. Was he the murderer?
He's a guy who he made like a snuff film of the guy he murdered, and it's online, and it's pretty easy to find. And a lot of people just like worship him. They send him pictures, cakes on his birthday and everything, and it's just like, why would you like? I don't know. It's just like, why would you praise him? He did something really awful to someone, and it's something you can see. Yeah. And
how do you feel about the Japanese celebrity who is a cannibal? Like he ate a person.
I just think it's weird. He's just walking around in the street. He's a food reviewer now, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Like, that is just so crazy.
That's
like,
weird to me. Like, how could you?
disgusting.
Yeah, it really is.
And if I were like the family, I would be like, "What the heck?
Yeah.
Like, this guy ate my brother or whatever, or my son." It's like, and he's just walking around being a food
just
reviewer,
fucking eating apples and like fucking shaking babies' hands.
Yeah, it's just like I don't get it. He's just walking free, and I don't know. It's just weird.
It's unsettling. Humans are crazy.
Yeah, and it's just like someone's hurting, and this guy is living the good life.
Living the good life. Yeah. Being paid to like
eat.
And that's
what his crime was, eating someone. It's just like, that's so fucked up. It's like, I don't know, someone just kidnap him and, I don't know, take him to jail somewhere. Even though I think he served a sentence or something. I don't know why he's even outside of jail right now. But.
Yeah, I'll have to look into the logistics of that. Yeah. I only have like a passing knowledge of this guy.
If I remember correctly, it basically comes down to like, he was in because like the crime was committed in France, and then like he was serving in France, but he like got extradited to Japan or whatever, and then like, or whatever the phrase is for like that, you know. But yeah, basically they put him in like, yeah, he ended up in Japan, and I guess like, yeah, in Japan they just didn't bother to like, they didn't bother to do anything, or maybe like they just couldn't because it was a crime committed in France or something. I don't know. Yeah, it's weird. I recommend, if you can find a copy of it, because it's really hard to find these days, I recommend, like, kind of on this topic, have you guys ever read the book Rage by Stephen King, or Richard Bachman as he was writing under?
I have not.
I have not either.
It's interesting. It's actually, like, the reason I say it's kind of hard to find, at least in the States, is because Stephen King actually, like, straight up, like, refuses to have it published anymore. The anthology book that he's got all of his Richard Bachman books, like, collected under, there's two versions of it. There's the one with it and the one without it, and I happen to be lucky to be the person that, like, has it with it. But it's an interesting story because, like, yeah, it's a school shooting story, and this was like long before Columbine, you know. I mean, school shootings were still very much happening. It just wasn't the big media frenzy it is now. Yeah, it's a school shooting story, but the weird thing, it's just a really disturbing book because, like, okay, it's not supernatural or anything, you know. Yeah. But like, yeah, the basic idea is the kid basically, like, yeah, he shoots the teacher. And then, yeah, he, like, holds his whole class hostage, and, like, there's a couple people that, like, speak up and he kills them or whatever, but, like, yeah, he basically spends the day holding them hostage while, like, the police are, like, outside trying to figure out, like, okay, yeah, what do we do, you know, trying to, like, negotiate with him and everything like that. And, yeah, it's really weird because, yeah, he and the class just start swapping stories with each other, and, like, you know, the class is just treating him like, yeah, this guy, you know, they're not like super terrified of him by the end of the day. Yeah. And it's just really disturbing, just like the, like, sort of like back and forth like he has with the class, because, yeah, like after a while it's almost more like a group therapy session for all of them. It's really weird. Yeah. And then, like, I don't care about spoiling because, like I said, it's a hard book to find anyways. Like, yeah, after he's, like, in, like, maximum security prison or whatever, you know, like, he still gets, like, letters from his classmates and everything, just checking up on him and letting him know what's going on. It's really, like, weird to read. Yeah. Like, it makes your skin crawl, but not in, like, the normal, like, oh, yeah, like, scary, like, or, like, people are horrible or anything. It's, like, that whole, like, okay, yeah, this person's horrible, but, oh, my God, he's got, like, people still like him anyways. It's weird. Yeah. So.
I've watched
it's a good book.
I've watched all the Columbine. No, I haven't watched all the Columbine documentaries, but I've seen, like, I think 2 or 3 of them, and it's just you can't put it into words. It makes me feel bad, but that's not doing it justice. It's like, God, they were just like they were fucked. They were just fucked in the head. That's right. Not doing it justice either.
A lot of people like to think of the guys at Columbine like they were like, oh, victims of bullying or something like that. You know? No, they were genuinely just like really.
They were terrible people. Yeah, no, they were bad. Much to the point that Coral was making, I just don't see how people can, like, after watching documentaries and, like, going through police transcripts or whatever, I just don't see how people can, like, humanize these people. Like, Andrew Boulay is really looked up to the Columbine shooters, and I just don't. It just doesn't register. And I hope that makes me a good person.
I think those like noble-ish villains can exist in real life. Like, I know there's like the one story of, like, you know, the Killdozer guy. Like back in like 2004 or whatever. Like,
oh, I know the Killdozer. Yeah.
Like, yeah, like, you know, that guy was straight up off to do a horrible thing, and I don't think in the end he didn't actually manage to kill anyone. He didn't actually go off to kill anyone or anything like that. But which makes it a bit easier to not like completely like vilify him. But he did intend to kill people, and he definitely didn't care about like casualties or anything. But his story is definitely one that's like, okay, yeah, it's weird because, like, I see how this man went from being a good person to someone who was willing to build a tank and drive through his town and start killing people. And, you know, like, I don't want to glorify that too much. I don't want to go, oh yeah, this guy is like a person who is driven to do what he must, etc. like that. But I see how it ended up happening, and it's much more of a sad story to me.
Yeah.
So, I think those kind of like conflicted villains can totally exist in real life.
Say what you will.
It's just that we want to see them in people that really don't deserve it.
Say what you will. He was dedicated. He built a fucking tank.
Yeah.
Hard 180. Can we talk about for a second how in Shadow the Hedgehog you shoot down the fucking president's you shoot down the president's like escape vehicle?
Why does the president keep having escape vehicles?
No, and then the best part is like that's like hardcore like evil side of the story, right? So you get to the very end, like humanity's last hope, and then they're like, "Don't worry, we'll pull out our secret weapon." And they're like, "No, it's a prototype." But he's like, "I don't care. Let's get it out anyway." And it's just like not even like a huge robot, just like a moderately large-sized robot with 2 big hands, and it's like the easiest fight. That's humanity's last hope. It's great.
They did say it was a prototype. It wasn't ready. I'm sure if they'd gotten like a couple more months in the R&D, it would probably have at least 2 more lasers.
RJ, why is Shadow the Hedgehog the most Kino game you've ever played in your life?
You're saying that to be a shit, but like Shadow the Hedgehog is a really weird game because like it's both simultaneously like absolutely abysmal, and at the same time you're just all like, oh my, I'm glad this was made.
I miss old Sonic games because they're so quotable. Shadow the Hedgehog is so quotable.
Oh yeah, where's that damn fourth chaos?
Where's that
Wait.
Do you guys remember that really bullshit mission that took place in the computer where you had to fucking detonate all the bombs and it took like no joke like an hour to do? And
I don't remember that actually.
You couldn't get anything less than like perfect on it. Like if you could put it there, just like okay, you win. Good job. Knuckles said damn in that game too. Let's get off of Sonic. I'm sick of talking about it.
Sonic Adventure 1 was good.
Which do you prefer? Have you played both?
I've never played a Sonic game ever.
Oh really?
Sorry. I'm just sitting here like, oh.
Post-recording Sonic time.
Yes. It's gonna have to happen. Which do you prefer, Sonic Adventure 1 or Sonic Adventure 2?
Easily 1. 2 is the one that I actually have childhood memories of.
Yeah.
Like, 2 is the one I actually played as a kid, but honestly, like, yeah, recently going back and playing 1 and then playing 2, 1, while being the much more clunky game, was easily the game with, like, that was just superior to me. Just vastly superior. 1 was, like, 1 seemed more willing to try out new ideas.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, because, like, the whole, like, okay, yeah, there's 6 different gameplay styles. And it had, like, the really weird, way of telling the story by the fact that, yeah, you might see the same cutscene, like, 4 times playing the game, and each time the dialogue's slightly different. And just, like, yeah, it was really weird, and it was trying out all this cool new stuff, and it was just genuinely really fun. Like, I love the shooting segments. And it's really sad going to Adventure 2, Adventure 2, since you, instead of having, like, the 6 stories that you can kind of, like, do at your leisure,
Mm-hmm.
You've got, like, the 2 stories, which are both, like, really short, linear affairs, that just keep switching gameplays between, like, the 3 gameplays they kept, Yeah, you might go the hero route, and yeah, you're going to start the hero route, and, like, you start it and you're like, oh, this is going to be a great game, and then, oh wait, the game's over? Like, that's how I feel about it. And plus, honestly, like, the Knuckles segments were improved, the Sonic segments were still good, the Tails segments, which replaced the, like, Gamma segments in Sonic Adventure 1, the shooting segments, right?
Yeah.
They just were abysmal. Like, they were horrible. I don't know how they switched between being, like, the most entertaining playstyle to being the absolute most slog playstyle. No, the only benefit Adventure 2 has, in my opinion, is one, City Escape. City Escape is great and should be in every Sonic game ever. You cannot have a 3D Sonic game without City Escape, in my opinion, these days. And also Chow Garden.
Chow Garden was exponentially...
Which was in Adventure 1, but it was just much better in Adventure 2.
Yeah, they patched it retroactively in Adventure DX Director's Cut, where they've, like, put in new fruits, so you can have, like, little shadow chows. No, I prefer
I know that it's still pretty bare bones in director's cut because that's
No,
that's the one
definitely.
I played.
Yeah. I prefer Adventure 1 too, just because like both games are horribly broken, but Adventure 1 is broken in a really fun way where you can do really fun things, like you can shoot yourself 1,000,000 feet in the air.
Also,
Adventure 1 had a really good soundtrack that like did a lot of
definitely.
like it did. There were a lot of motifs. There was like
I gotta say the hip hop in the Knuckles stages in Adventure 2.
oh definitely Kino,
Pumpkin Hill.
Pumpkin Hill, Death Chamber. That's the one that just goes Death Chamber, Death Chamber.
Yeah, no, I liked Adventure 1. Also, it did have like it was weird because it did actually have like a weird open world-esque aspect to it, which was just kind of weird in the Sonic game, but surprisingly worked. Like I actually kind of do wish that they would go back to that and just like, improve it. I'm the kind of person that I don't like it when features are straight up removed from games.
Yeah.
Even if they're bad features, if you can pinpoint where they were bad, you know? If you're like, oh, like this would have been better if we had done this, everything like that.
Yeah.
I think you should, instead of removing the feature entirely, in later sequels, you should keep the feature, but you should do all the ifs.
You're talking about like in No More Heroes 1 where it was like an open world game, and in the second game it's just kind of like a point and click, go to the mission type thing.
That to me is kind of the exception.
That is the
I
exception.
would have liked a better open world and everything.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, I am kind of on the opinion that the terrible open world was kind of a joke.
Yeah.
And it'd be a joke that honestly, like, wouldn't work for 2 games. Like, after the first game, you're like, okay, like, this isn't what I'm playing the game for. The joke's over, that sort of thing. I don't need open world in my No More Heroes, but like in Sonic, it was fun, kind of like wandering around the city and the jungle and everything. Yeah. But my design philosophy is the exact opposite of, say, Bethesda's design philosophy.
Oh,
I have to
here
get
we
my
go.
Bethesda bashing in.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, I'm not going to continue.
We go.
I just wanted to fill a quota.
Oh,
You keep doing that, I will go into a Skyrim rant.
Okay, what's something you've seen lately that you really stuck with you that you would like to talk about? A recommendation, if you will.
I saw Jurassic World recently.
Yeah, let's talk about that. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, I mean, I don't think it was as good as the first one, but it was still pretty good. It's kind of nice to see the dinos again, and of course there's a sad scene with those long-necked...
The brontosauruses?
Yeah, there's always got to be a sad scene with
What happened with the brontosauruses?
Okay, you want me to spoil it for
Yeah.
you? Okay, so the beginning of the movie, there's an active volcano on the island that the dinosaurs are on.
Yeah.
And it's about to blow up and kill them all. And so, like, there's, like, an animal rights group that the main chick from that movie is the president of, and she wants to go save them. And then, of course, when they get there, the volcano's already about to erupt. It's, like, premature, of course. And so they're trying to save all the dinos, and they barely make it on the ship. Like, barely. Like, there's fire and smoke behind them. And so they finally get on it, and, like, this lone brachiosaurus, or whatever it's called, is just walking towards them. He kind of comes out of the smoke and he's crying, and they're like, we forgot one! And then he's just like crying, he's walking towards the dock, and he gets as far as he can go, and he's just crying at them because he wants on the boat, and then there's nothing they can do, and then he just gets engulfed by flames and fire, and you see his silhouette just kind of disintegrate, and you're just like, oh no, it's so sad. Why is this movie so mean to the herbivores? Like, they're just so innocent. And
I think the best part of that is somebody had to like pitch that in a meeting.
Yeah, they're like, yes, the fields.
We're gonna fucking kill the dinosaur.
We need
the
a
worst
sad
way.
giant lizard.
Oh my god, it was so sad. I was crying. It was like, I was watching it with my boyfriend. I was like, they forgot one! They forgot one! Like, I was like crying, and I heard people sniffling, and it was so quiet in the theater because everyone was like, no! Go get it!
Did you watch Infinity War?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Do you know the end? All the spoilers?
Like the disintegrating?
Yeah,
game?
yeah.
I don't know what it like is. But...
Oh, well, a bunch of people. Okay, so he snaps his fingers, and half of the people in the universe die. And Spider-Man is one of them. He's the very last one. And of course, they had to make his like really dramatic or whatever, because they have the whole like father-son thing with Tony Stark.
He's got the Spidey sense. He could feel it coming.
Yeah, he did. And then so he's like, I don't want to go, Mr. Stark, please. And it's like super sad, and like everybody in the theater is just like, ooh.
And then it turned into a meme.
Yeah.
Just devalue his death.
And I had to like take the glasses off and like suck the tears back in.
I didn't know it was Spider-Man, but
Oh,
It's pretty sad.
It is
Poor
very sad.
Spider-Man.
It has no effect on me because I've been watching Kamen Rider Build, which has had like three like disintegrates in like his leader's arms deaths so far. Actually, I think 4 at this point, and there is actually a character named Mr. Stark. So, well, actually, they retranslated it to Stock because that's more accurate. But for the longest time, he was Stark.
Mr. Staku.
So
Mr. Stalfos.
this disintegration meme means something different to me.
Can we talk about the fact how like the racist jokes that we remember from our childhood are being rebranded into like political jokes now? Have you guys noticed this phenomenon?
Do you have an example?
Explain your premise.
Okay, for instance, the other day somebody was like, "What do you call 10 Democrats at the bottom of a lake? A good start." And I was like, "Oh, I've heard this joke before," but they were not Democrats.
I'm pretty sure that like that joke being a variable joke for any group you disagree with has probably been around longer than we have, honestly.
I don't think I ever heard it, but I'll probably hear it now that you mentioned it.
No, yeah. Can we talk about that? The weird thing where like you don't know something exists, and as soon as you hear it everywhere.
Yeah,
That's like it's a weird phenomenon.
It is definitely kind of great. Because you'll learn a new word and you'll be like, I'm never going to use this word. Then you start hearing it everywhere and you're all like, oh, damn, nice. I'm in on this now.
For the first 21 years of my life, I thought the word harbinger was harbringer. And only very recently did I find out that it is not harbinger, it is harbinger.
That makes me very happy.
I think I've always seen it with the R too.
Yeah.
No,
So I felt really stupid.
Um,
Also, you guys know Shaggin' Wagon?
mm-hmm.
For the first ever, like, 18 years of my life, I thought Shaggin' Wagon referred to the fact that it has shag carpeting. Then, like, oh, it's a fuck van.
I mean, it's also got the shag carpet, so
You can see my confusion.
Yeah.
That's weird. You gotta go back and, like, look at things as an adult that you knew as a kid. It's just stupid.
No, I know. I understand that sort of stuff, I'm sure I've got some examples, but I can't think of any right now.
Here's a good topic. What's something you really, really liked as a kid that you went back and saw as an adult, and now it's just like, oh, I can't believe I actually enjoyed this at some point?
I was thinking about that the other day. What was it?
If you keep stroking your beard, it will probably come to you.
The Strangerhood by Rooster Teeth.
Explain.
All right, do you know The Strangerhood?
No.
All right, it's a machinima they did, that like EA paid them to do, back when Sims 2 came out or whatever, and yeah, it's a machinima of Sims 2, and it's got like kind of this plot of like all these people like wake up in this neighborhood and they're the only people there and they don't even remember who they are. And there's like some voice in the TV like that's like talking to them and everything, and it's a mystery, but for the most part it's comedy. And like when I was younger, I thought it was like the greatest shit, and I was all like really sad when it ended, and I wanted more and all that stuff, right? And like I've made the mistake of like not rewatching it, and then like trying to show it to someone before, like, oh yeah, you should check out The Strangerhood, like, I'm like, let's watch the first episode or whatever, and it's like absolutely just completely horrible, like just complete cringe, like I mean 100% cringe. Did I try to show it to you? Is that it? Nah, someone. And but like, yeah, I'm just all like, oh my god, no, I've made a mistake showing this to someone. Now they think I am the person with the bad opinions.
I think for me it would be like Elfen Lied. I know that wasn't from my childhood, but
Yeah.
it was one of the first animes I ever saw.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And of course I really liked it, and it made me cry in some parts, and then I rewatched it with my boyfriend later because he didn't ever see it. I was like, oh, you gotta see it, it's a great anime. And then when we were watching it, I was like, this is, I don't know, just kind of cringy. Like the dialogue is so unrealistic, and I mean, I still like it, but I'm like, it doesn't feel the way it did.
I remember
back
that
when
anime.
I watched it.
I remember that anime as the anime that my cousin and I tried to start like 4 times. Like there was like 4 times that we watched halfway through and we never finished it. We'd always be all like, oh yeah, we're actually gonna like sit down and actually we're gonna finish watching this. And yeah, we'd get like halfway through the series and we're like, oh, we're bored now. I don't think it was actually straight up just being bored at the series. Like, there was anything boring about the series. It's just like, yeah, we had bad attention spans.
I'm trying to think of one of those, because I know there's an anime series that I used to really like that I don't care for anymore. I can't think of it.
Naruto.
I never liked Naruto.
Me neither. I
I
hate
never
Naruto.
saw Naruto until I was like 18, and then I tried watching
gotcha.
it, and then I was like,
Yeah, no,
okay.
when it first came out on like Toonami or whatever, you know, when it first came out on Toonami, I was about it, but yeah, then I dropped off watching it, and then like yeah, every attempt ever to go back, I was like, no, this is terrible, this is absolutely horrible. I did better with the manga for a while, like I was able to keep up with the manga for a while, but yeah, no, I despise Naruto. It's fucking bad.
It is. I'm so fucking happy that when I was 15, 14, 13, I never watched Fairy Tail, I never watched Naruto, I never watched Bleach, I never watched One Piece is okay.
I watched all of them, I just didn't like any of them, and like I didn't stick with them.
Because I would have eaten that shit up as a little baby boy.
I'm happy though, because going back and rewatching DBZ,
Yeah.
DBZ's genuinely, and Dragon Ball in general, is actually better than I remember it.
I've never seen Dragon Ball Z, and I feel like it's too late for me.
No, it's not too late. We'll marathon it sometimes. We'll do Kai, the recut.
I feel like you have to be like a certain age to like really enjoy that though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Me being
Not for
like,
Dragon Ball though.
are you sure?
Yeah, no, because Dragon Ball is nothing like DBZ. Nothing.
Oh, Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay. I was talking.
Then,
Okay,
like,
yeah, got it.
And then
okay.
once you've
Very
seen
good.
enough Dragon Ball, then like maybe you can go through and watch Z, because like, you know, like the super stuff like will be fine, because at least you know the characters now.
See, okay,
But yeah,
but
the super stuff itself is not as interesting if you haven't grown up with it, I don't think.
is it fair to say Dragon Ball Z is Babby's first battle anime?
Oh, I mean, yeah.
See, that's the thing, is like I've already probably seen it done better, so I don't want to go back, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but like what I just said, Dragon Ball is not Babby's first fighting anime.
Okay.
So like Dragon Ball is genuinely, honestly, an anime I feel like at any age you can pick up and you can go, this is great. Because yeah, Dragon Ball is just straight up like comedic fantasy.
My favorite thing about Akira Toriyama's art is like the stubby little vehicles that he puts his characters in. Do you guys know that van on the corner of... It's like the cutest little van I've ever seen. It's only like this long, I swear to God, and it's like this tall. It is like a little cartoon van.
I do not know what you're talking about.
I'll find the
You have to take a picture.
I'll find the make and model and show it to you guys. It's
Okay.
great. I was gonna say Danny Phantom, but I never liked Danny Phantom.
I like Danny Phantom.
Danny Phantom's not a good show. It never was. Okay, here you go. Mucha Lucha. I used to like Mucha Lucha, and I know Mucha Lucha is a bad show.
Yeah.
Next topic. Anything you want to talk about? RJster.
Hold up, I had something.
You had something? Oh shit, my bad.
No, I had something. I can't think of it anymore.
Stubby Vehicles.
It definitely wasn't.
Andrew
Stubby
Blaze.
Vehicles. Nah.
Danny Phantom.
Nah.
Mucha Lucha.
Oh, hey, I mean, here's something. It's just something quick. I woke up this morning, right?
Yeah.
I woke up this morning and I like checked all my messages that I got through the night.
Yeah.
And you know my British friend James. Shout out to James. Yeah, he messaged me and on Discord and everything, and yeah, he had a lot of messages for me, you know, because we live in different time zones, so it's pretty common for us to send like 10 messages for the other person to like read in the morning and then like sort through and decide what they're gonna reply to and everything. Yeah, he like one of his messages was all like, he was like, check Steam for a surprise or something like that, and I was like, damn it, he sent me a Steam gift. So like I turned on my computer while I was getting ready and I like got onto Steam, and it showed like there was 2 Steam gifts in my inventory. I was like, wait, what the fuck? Why would you send me 2, you asshole? And so like yeah, I gotta open them, and like yeah, it shows like the first one is Underrail, not Undertale, Underrail, right? Which is like Fallout. And it's like this really good indie RPG that I've been wanting to play for a long time, right?
Okay.
And I'm just all like, oh, James, you're such a great guy. And so I hit accept, right? And then I scroll down to the second gift, and it's like that, like, who's your daddy, or like Dream Daddy or whatever,
Oh,
you know?
yeah, I know.
Yeah. And I'm just all like, fuck you, James. I'm accepting this and I'm playing this. I'm going to talk about it on the podcast sometime. Don't be surprised if I come back and I'm just all like,
Listen,
so I've been
pal.
playing my gay daddy simulator.
Listen, bud. Listen, kid.
You can't fucking get on your moral high horse about dating sims after you played fucking Amoris, the furry dating sim. He said it was for journalism. But then he spent fucking 45 minutes talking about it.
Yeah, journalistically.
No! You said, yes, here is my blue and purple cougar. Was it a cougar? I don't fucking remember.
It was just generic.
You talked about how much you wanted to fuck the green bird. The rider bird, Seth.
For dominance.
For dominance,
Yeah.
he says.
Because he pissed me off. I wanted to be better than him.
You are better than him, just walk away!
But no, this way I have like set up all of his hopes and dreams, and he relies on me for them.
RJ is an emotional monster. This is the takeaway. Do you guys want to talk about weird, like, interactions you've had with people lately? I'll tell you about one that happened to me. This woman who comes into the place that I work, I saw her at a pizzeria in a neighboring town. And then she was like, I'm fucking this person. I'm like, yeah, it's great. I'm me. I'm gonna go eat my pizza over here. Leave me alone, please. This isn't my place of business. We're not friends. So anyway, she comes in later on, and then she says, you know when somebody says something really psychotic and alarms start going off in your head? That was the situation where she was like, hey, how you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm good. And she says, I've been thinking about you a lot lately.
Oh.
And I'm like, wee you, I need an adult. So then I go outside, and she happens to be outside too. The same woman that said, I've been thinking about you. So she says, yeah, I it just seems like I've been seeing you everywhere out and about. I'm like, yeah, probably because we live in the same town. But she says, yeah, I actually had a dream about you.
Oh.
And then I'm like, really? And she says, yeah, are you dating that black girl? And I say, no, you mean Keisha? No. And she says, oh, well, we've been running to each other a lot. I had a dream about you. I just feel you're lost and you need a place to call your own. So I go to church at whatever fucking church she goes at. I don't remember because at this point I was like, ugh. She says, you can come over there, and she's like struggling to like find words. She's like, my pastor, 3 of his daughters have married black men, so we're not prejudiced or anything. I'm just like, okay, well, you have a great day.
And it turns out they're the people from that Get Out movie.
They are.
They pretend to be unracist, but they really just want black people for their black abilities.
She actually showed me pictures of all the black dudes, and they all had like giant like Frankenstein bolts sticking out the side of their head.
Oh my god. That's creepy.
They didn't even. Then she showed me a video of like their like family reunion. No, because they were actually at the church, right? And then she says, how are you doing, Jamal? And he wasn't even saying, like his mouth wasn't even moving. He wasn't even saying words. It was just a robot voice. Yeah.
It's scary. You should stay away from her. Did she tell you what her dream was about, or she just was like, it was dream sex, but I'm gonna tell him it's something something really deep.
That's, you know what? Always assume the worst. That's exactly what I'm assuming.
Like, oh shit, that wasn't her dream. Like, is it good at least? Did I do a good job, babe?
Terrible. That's terrible. Why are you making me imagine this?
I'm sorry. That's just what I think of when people say, I had a dream about you last night.
That's what I think of.
What was I doing in your dream?
That's what I think of.
It's just creepy.
All the
hate
time.
That. They
100%.
They get so excited, but then you think
that was
really
the
bad
weirdest
things.
part too. She was like foaming at the mouth, waiting to tell me. She was like she like waddled over. That's mean. She waddled over. She was like, yeah, I had a dream about you. That was another thing too. She was at the same time very excited, and she was also struggling to find words. So maybe she was doing like mental gymnastics.
Yeah, she was trying to tell a lie.
Yeah.
She's like, I can't really tell him what it's about, but I have to tell him anyway.
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Weird
Just
interactions.
any interaction with wheelchair soldier.
Wheelchair soldier.
Well, I have a weird customer at work that always talks to me, and
Please explain.
Okay, so it's that kind of weird transgender guy.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
for some reason, she really likes me a lot. And
Yeah.
I don't want to be like rude, because he's not like rude or anything.
No.
But like, he just talks to me about like health food all the time, and I don't get it because
Yeah.
I'm not into it. But he thinks I guess he thinks that I am, but and I don't know. I just have to hide from him all the time because I don't want to be stuck talking to him for 15 minutes about. But like, I don't know. It's just kind of weird, and I haven't had like really creepy interactions with him. Like, I don't know if I can say her name, but Bree has had creepy.
Yeah,
reactions.
that's what I was about to say. What was the exact sentence? Because it was something really weird and crazy.
I think he asked her if she was seeing anyone, or
There was a phrase he used.
I can't remember what she described, but like he thought she was a lesbian or something.
Yeah.
Because her voice was really low,
That's so prejudiced.
The old tried and true.
and she was like, "No."
God, oh my God. I remember, it's like right on the tip of my tongue. It was like, not life partner, but like spirit partner, I feel like it was. Do you have a spirit partner?
Yeah, some weird hippie dippy
Yeah.
shit, and yeah, that's the way he talks all the time. And
Yeah.
oh, I guess he doesn't really talk to me about that because I mentioned that I have a boyfriend a lot. Because he asked like, "What are you doing this weekend, Cora?" Like, "Oh, I'm gonna go see my boyfriend," and he was like, "Oh, that's cool."
That's great.
So I think I kind of pushed him away from that boat, but he still talks to me about like health food and stuff, and I'm like, can't relate. But he did tell me he was moving, and
That's great.
And so I was like, "Oh, we'll miss you," and I was like,
You have to be sneaky with words. You have to be like, well, we'll miss your business.
yeah.
We won't miss you, just the money that you bring. That way you're not being disingenuous.
But I don't really
Life
have
hack.
any like weird interactions with most customers. Most of them just don't even really like me.
Oh, that's sad.
But I don't care. Like, I don't go outside anyway. It's hot.
Alright. I think Florida does get a lot of crap it doesn't deserve because we see all the the news stories of all the weird shit going on in Florida, and that's mostly just comes down from the fact that Florida has a law that crimes like that and everything they get reported to the media has full access to them.
Yeah.
So you will see a lot of news stories in Florida, oh yeah, someone decided to masturbate with an urn full of cremated ashes.
Jesus
or something.
Christ.
You'll get weird new headlines like that. That's where the Florida man meme comes from. And yeah, honestly, it's almost like Florida doesn't even fully deserve it because it's just because they're willing to admit that all these crazy people are there. For all we know, freaking Wisconsin's just as bad, but you're not gonna see all the headlines for it. So that's only gonna be word of mouth that you don't believe anyways.
Wisconsin is really cold. That's why there's no crime there. Because nobody wants to leave their house.
I mean, crime does go up with just larger populations.
Can we go back to crazy people for just 1 second? Because I like collecting these little tidbits that crazy people say. For instance, there was this kid who used to go to my my middle school, and I kind of stayed friends with him after he left. Not really, but just to be nice, just to talk, hey man, how's life? And I remember exactly what it was. He was like, "Oh, not good. Things aren't going well with my girlfriend." And I was like, "Oh, that's terrible, man. Do you want to talk about it?" He said she just won't see reason. And I was like, "What are you talking about? What do you mean?" No, what did he say? It was okay, I remember now. It was she won't see reason. My plan didn't work. And I was like, what are you talking about right now? And then I'll never forget the next thing he said to me because it's the craziest thing. He's like, it was a plan to make her see common sense. Yes, that's my story. I finally got it out. Yay!
I'm terrified now.
that is some fucking crazy person shit. That's something only a maniac would say.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
I like saying cockroaches because that's what the Bjork stalker called people. He said they are cockroaches.
One time, Jesse and I went to the bank because we were going to open up checking accounts. And the banker assumed we were a couple and wanted to do a joint bank account. It was pretty cool. It was all cool. I guess I look fabulous enough to be gay, I guess. That's cool.
How often do you get mistaken for being gay?
Not as often as I would expect, honestly.
I get it quite a bit. Just like,
I wasn't gonna say anything.
I wasn't gonna.
It doesn't bother me anymore. It used to. I'm just like, whatever.
I see nothing wrong with being like
No, I
mistaken for gay.
Yeah, I don't either.
Anymore.
Legitimately, I'm like, okay, yeah, I guess that means that I am in some way fabulous. That's cool.
In high school, I was like, oh, it's ruining my romantic prospects with the fucking 3 girls in my class who I don't even like
Right.
that much. Now I'm just like,
Fuck off, whatever. I don't care.
I just want to draw. Leave me alone. RJ, can I
Yes,
say,
ma'am.
your afro is looking distinctly very less afro-esque. It's looking more like fucking Raven from WCW.
Why? Because it's long?
It's getting very long.
Yeah. Well, I went to last night, okay? So, like, alright, I'm gonna admit this, okay?
All right.
I went a couple days without actually washing my hair and everything. My hair got, like, my hair was getting, like, super tangled and, you know, like, kind of greasy and everything, right? You know?
You, am I right, everybody? Hey, let's
Dox this dumb retard.
So,
Continue, please.
you know, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go take a shower, you know, and I'm gonna, like, super wash my hair and everything, right? And, before that, I just spent like half an hour before I like actually went to take the shower, you know. I just spent a half hour just, you know, like detangling my hair with my fingers, you know, because yeah, it was like tangled, right? You know, it's like, oh, I'm totally gonna get those dreadlocks faster than I expected. So I was like untangling my hair and, you know, running my fingers through and just kind of like working out the knots and everything. It took forever. And then like I went to go take a shower and I caught myself in the mirror before, like, you know, I was ready to go take a shower and everything. And my hair was like crazy just out to here. Like it was a massive, just cartoonish afro at this point, because of all the like running through I'd done.
Was it like Phil Spector length?
Who's Phil Spector?
Phil Spector is I don't know. He's a murderer.
Oh no.
Let me find a picture of him. I'll show.
It was straight up like, yeah, a cartoony depiction of an afro where like, yeah, it's like it is bigger than their head significantly and everything like that. It just goes out like fucking Mirror B from fucking Pokemon.
If Tim Burton drew a murderer, it would be Phil Spector. That's the best way that I can describe him.
It was massive. I was kind of like, I think it was bigger. It was bigger than that.
About
I
his
think.
wig.
I genuinely think it was bigger than that. No lie.
Oh, is that a wig? Fuck.
So I'm definitely better at afros than him.
Oh, it is a wig.
But yeah, no, I think mine was bigger than that. I'm not even joking. Like, it was massive, and it still looked distinctly afro-like, which was the weird thing. I was like, huh, this is sad. I'm kind of sad to wash my hair. I kind of want to like walk around town with this giant, like, huge afro.
Have you ever picked your hair out?
I mean, that's basically what I did there, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
You could hairspray it.
Have you ever
no, thank
straightened
you.
it?
Have you ever
I've straightened it once or twice.
How long?
I would like to see that.
Well, last night I didn't straighten it or anything, but you know, I wash my hair very thoroughly, and I've got a comb, like a big wide tooth comb and everything. So you know, I was really detangling everything, right? You know, after you comb curly hair, you know, it's basically straight for like until it dries. You know? And it was definitely past shoulder length, so it was cool.
Nice.
I'm very sad. Every time I straighten my hair when I have long hair, it's like Snape. Just like long and black and greasy and terrible.
I am currently following I'm currently unintentionally following the principles of a Nazirite from the Bible. Because like in order to be a Nazirite, which is what Samson was in the Bible, right? You have to hold up. So there's three rules you have to follow, and these are the only 3 rules, right? You have to grow out your hair. Just keep growing it out. You have to not be around dead bodies, which I have not been around dead bodies, so that's good. And then also you can't like drink wine or like have anything wine related. Here's the thing, it specifically is only grape products, and that includes like grapes and raisins for some reason. Any other alcohols are fine. So like, yeah, you could say that I'm basically the same thing as Samson from the Bible, and that's cool. So I'm afraid to cut my hair because I think I'll lose all my strength.
So
here we are again.
What is the cruelest thing you have ever done?
The cruelest thing I've ever done.
I can never see you doing anything cruel, so I have to know the mean side.
All right.
If you want me to go first, I will.
Okay.
I cannot answer this question.
I kind of said it in our Corey episode, but I'm sure I've done something worse than that.
I haven't seen that episode,
It's
so I'll have to watch it.
we have all the raw footage. It's gonna go up today or tomorrow. Fuck.
So
I'll think about it. Go ahead.
okay, I've kicked a puppy
That's fucking terrible.
Shadow.
on purpose.
On purpose.
I've burnt my sister's arm with a flat iron.
That's great.
That's pretty mean, I guess. And let's see, what else have I done? That's pretty cruel.
Girls is starting to scare me more and more as we talk.
See, it's for me. It's the opposite. You're like, I can't see you do anything cruel. I'm like, I can't see you do anything cruel. You're just kind of like this nice, like, quiet person.
I
Now
can't
I
talk
see.
about the cruelest shit I've ever done. That being said, and like if this like puts it in perspective or anything, I can talk about the fact I've cut my brother's finger in half, and you know he's my little brother by like 10 years. I've cut his finger in half before.
I've cut
Like
some
he had to go to the ER and have reconstructive surgery on
Oh
his
my
finger
gosh.
because like yeah, it was just hanging off by like the skin.
Oh, gross.
It was like straight through the bone. It was
Dang.
yeah, it was hanging by skin.
Were
I've
you
done
just
that.
mad at him?
I've done that to a little kid. No, it was an accident. That's the
Oh.
worst part. It was an accident. I can't be all like, oh yeah, I got so mad I cut someone's finger off. Don't fuck with me, you know? No, I fucking accidentally cut my brother's finger off.
See, that's the thing for me is like, if I think about it, it has to be something like intentional that I've done. I have really bad luck. Like, fucking last week I broke a car door.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. But it was an accident. That's what I tell people anyway.
I've cut someone between the beat right here on purpose.
That sucks.
Scissors.
That hurts.
Yeah. Done
I've
that
had-
on purpose.
I've had that before. It was right here.
Did a lot of mean things on purpose.
Fuck. Something I intentionally did to like bring harm to another person. Goddamn.
I cyberbully Jake a lot.
You do cyberbully me a lot.
But
The
that's the meanest thing you've done.
meanest thing I
Your-
do. The
Your
meanest,
peer.
No, like I said, I can't talk about the meanest things I've done.
I won't judge you.
I literally just won't.
Is it like you murdered someone? Like
No,
that kind
not
of
that
thing?
bad.
I was like, all
I
right,
wish.
If you don't want to talk, you wish.
Yeah, because then it's like, you know, because then it comes down to that whole like, oh, I've done terrible things, but I have to atone for them, you know, that sort of thing.
do you guys have
It's a
that?
noble, terrible thing to do.
I'm not a pure boy, I promise. I just can't think of anything right now.
All right. I'll give you a
Or
little
he's afraid to think of things.
I'll keep thinking about it while we talk about something else.
So, do you think Poppy is innocent?
Ooh, good topic.
Ooh,
Been waiting-
yeah.
I was waiting
here
for
we
you
get
to bring it
into-
up, but
I've
I was
been-
like, I gotta talk about it.
Here we're getting into the crazy shit.
All right. Stepping back from an... Jesus Christ, what am I saying? All right, stepping back, just for the record, I'm a very big Poppy fan. Coral, also very big Poppy fan. And you want to talk about the drama?
Yes, let's
All
talk
right.
about the drama.
Go ahead. All right,
You might-
so give us a backstory. Give us a back...
So you might
Because
have
you
to
know a lot more than I
You
do.
might have to censor her name because
That's fine.
apparently, anytime her name is mentioned in a YouTube video, it gets taken down.
I'm not afraid.
So, I mean, you're a pretty small channel, but the Repzilla is a pretty small channel, and his videos have been taken down just for mentioning she who must not be named. And I don't know, there's just so much to like say. Like, okay, so
See, that's the thing. You don't know where to start.
so Mars Argo is suing Poppy for copyright claims.
All right.
So let's just start from there.
All right, very good.
And in her copyright, she's listing all. I read the whole thing.
I did too.
And so she's listing all the coincidences where there's similarities between her character Mars Argo and the Poppy character.
Yeah, and can I say, it's convincing as fuck. Like,
yes.
They put it together very well.
I actually have the pacer monitor thing on my sidebar, and I check it every day to see if
Oh,
there's any
you
new
do?
core documents entered.
No lie, long before this was a thing, like the moment I like long before this lawsuit was a thing, like it was already kind of like just this not well known, but it was already kind of like an agreed upon thing that like if you knew about Mars Argo, like you knew that Poppy was straight up just like Mars Argo 2.0.
Yeah, it was nothing new, but like a lot of people just accepted it was just her continuing the character, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, there was nothing we could do because nobody knew what happened to Mars Argo, and
Yeah.
nobody knew what was going on.
Yeah.
But like when it came out, like the Repzilla said, he said, this is nothing we haven't known before. We've all seen the similarities. We've all questioned. We don't know why. We just kind of assumed she replaced Mars Argo, and she didn't really replace her. Kind of, I guess.
Yeah.
Sort of in a way, but she ripped off the character pretty much. And then, so anyway, there's all these similarities, and she also has the abuse claims against
There's a lot of
Mr.
allegations.
Mr. Titanic Sinclair, and then
Esquire.
yeah. And so then there's all of that, and then Poppy comes up with a statement saying that she was abused, which I think was written by Titanic Sinclair, because all of
It
the
sure seems
evidence
like it.
is against Titanic Sinclair. Like the Josh Moran guy is attacking Titanic Sinclair in that video,
Yeah.
supposedly.
Speaking strictly legally, I think it's all irrelevant information.
And all of the proof they've provided has been cropped, so
Yeah.
you can't see it. And apparently, according to the official records, the restraining order against Josh Moran and Corey Mixter, it was dropped because, according to like a judge on the Repzilla's channel, he said that man versus man stuff like that, the judges kind of allow it to be duked out in person.
Yeah.
They don't really grant legal restraining orders when it's a guy versus a guy.
Yeah.
But when it's a girl versus a guy,
Yeah.
they pretty much do. But hers was dismissed, so which means Mariah dropped the charges or something, or didn't want to go through with it. So that's kind of fishy. You know, did this guy really, sexually assault or whatever Poppy or whatever?
Yeah.
Because it looks like it was more on Titanic Sinclair's side to
Yeah.
me. But I mean, if she was, then that's really sad and stuff. And
It really is.
that guy collaborated with Mars Argo, and so it's kind of like, are these two girls just gonna always collaborate with abusive men
Yeah.
their whole lives
Yeah.
or whatever? And
It's
then I don't know. It's just a lot of people think, Mars Argo is being ridiculous in her lawsuit, but it's not like she's copyrighting bunny ears or pink backgrounds.
yeah.
These are similarities between the two that are just not coincidences. She's
Yeah.
doing it on purpose.
There's a saying, and it's once it's an occurrence, twice it's a coincidence, 3 times it's a pattern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's just not. I think a lot of people are missing the point of the lawsuit. She's saying it's doing this intentionally. And there's so many references to Mars Argo and Poppy videos. Like, I don't know if you saw the recent one, like, Can You Believe It?
I didn't see that one.
Anyway, she's reciting something, and this, whatever it is, like, but the first letter of every, like, sentence she says spells out, fuck you, bitch. And so that's, like, the hidden message. And so obviously it's pointed at Mars Argo, I guess.
Yeah.
A lot of just really mean subliminal messages. If you go look back on a lot of her videos, you can kind of see, that could be taken as a jab at Mars
Yeah.
Argo.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, so yeah, for me, the big, like, revelation for me, like, because, yeah, no, I mean, I considered, like, the big revelation to me was finding out how much of Mars Argo and, like, the Mars Argo project and everything was straight up, like, owned by Mars Argo herself.
Mhm.
That's the big revelation that changed things for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I always assumed, like, I was always under the belief that the Poppy thing was kind of building up kind of a myth arc about this, like, former, like, failed project. Because, like, yeah, like, all this Mars Argo stuff, like, 90% of it was removed, but there was still, like, the little portion of it that was still, like, up on, like, the official, like, Mars Argo channel. Like, there's, like, the one video, like, the delete your Facebook video,
Yeah.
and there's, like, the one music video, using you or whatever, so, and, like, I had subscribed to the theory that, yeah, Titanic had intentionally kept up, just enough that people were still curious about what Mars Argo was,
Mhm.
He didn't keep up the whole thing, and where people could be like, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, clearly Poppy's just, like, this boring, second attempt at this, because these two broke up, and, he didn't delete all of it because he didn't actually want to remove all of the traces for it. I completely, at the time, subscribed to the theory that, yeah, no, Titanic likes the idea that like likes the idea that people are curious as to this whole like proto poppy thing. I believed that at the time. I might still believe it. I'm not sure, but I think that's irrelevant now because the big revelation to me there, I'm just all like, oh yeah, no, I can't get behind this shit anymore, was just the fact that it turned out that Mars Argo straight up, like the girl playing Mars Argo straight up owned a big portion of that and like was huge, like was a huge financial contributor through her family. And that's a big deal because beforehand I'd assumed like, okay, this was a messy breakup, he killed off the character, but he still liked the mystique behind it, and he kept it. And no, this is very much just all like, I'm gonna start my own Mars Argo with blackjack and hookers. So that's upsetting. And if all the allegations are true, then I'm totally on the Mars Argo side. If those allegations are true, I'm on that side. I liked what little Mars Argo content I was able to find. I liked it because I thought there was a nice dynamic between Mars Argo and Titanic.
For me, it's a really hard pill to swallow because I knew about Mars Argo, right, but not much. I just knew about, they used to be a thing and then they're not anymore. And then I don't think I'm being facetious when I say that Poppy is a big influence, both in the way she presents herself and like aesthetically. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
it does. There's a lot to unpack there. There's a lot of social commentary. There's a lot of and just the way like what they can do with the stage show. It's all really cool. I like it a lot. What they have to say, all the symbolism, things like that. There's a lot there that I just really, really fell in love with, and it all feels tainted now.
Yeah.
I haven't been able to like every time Poppy comes up in my my playlist, I have to skip over. I haven't.
Yeah, it's that way for me. I can't really listen to her, and I sometimes do, but like, I still follow her on like Instagram and stuff just to see what she's doing. And, but like, if you look at her old covers, her singing voice is nowhere near what it is now. It's some people say it's made to match the pitch of Mars Argo's, but still have that. I mean, I don't know if you've listened to her old music, but it's nothing like it. Like the way Low Life sounds is kind of like her original voice, but I don't know, it's a lot different what her real voice sounds like. And
is it like deeper?
Yeah, kind of more scratchier, not quite as sweet. But she's made a lot of cosmetic changes to look like Mars Argo. You know, she's brunette with bleach blonde hair, and she had cut it short at one point, and her voice is a lot higher pitched. And I mean, there's a lot of like differences between Poppy and Mars Argo that kind of separate them. But like I said, there's too much to be a mere coincidence.
Like I said, I'm pretty sure, like I said, I considered Poppy to be 100% okay. Yeah, here's the second go around in Mars Argo. Like there was never any. I believe too. And I never had an illusion that like they were in any way really separate other than the actress. And like, I mean, with Poppy, there was a bit more of the creepy. Like it was much more like over the top creepy shit. So it was at least a bit different. But no, it is upsetting. The whole thing, and like my just biggest hope, and I mean, it's obviously not going to happen because actual courts are involved. My biggest hope is like, oh yeah, this was all just one massive publicity stunt by Titanic Sinclair, like with like the coordination of Mars Argo and Poppy. But that's not going to happen.
On that note, the very last, speaking strictly legally, the last court document filed was on April 23rd. And from this, Titanic Sinclair has 21 days to respond once this is officially entered. It's been entered, but it has 90 days past this point to be officially entered. And then Titanic Sinclair has 21 days after that. So simple math in your head, April 23rd, 3 months from there, April, May, June, 21 more days after that. It could be like end of July before any developments happen, start of August.
Yeah.
So we're in limbo right now.
Yeah, it's pretty silent right now. Because I think their official court date was July 12th.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure
I think
if
so,
that's still
yeah.
there. Because I know for the restraining order thing, he showed up without a lawyer. And then
Really?
he decided he wanted one, and so then that was delayed. So I don't really know what happened after that. Cause
I don't know either.
I hadn't been looking. Maybe they haven't even done it yet.
Yeah,
but
I need to
they
look into
were-
that because I don't know about this one.
Yeah, because they were choosing to represent themselves for some reason, which doesn't seem very smart.
No, it doesn't
And
at
then
all.
He decided at the last minute he did want a lawyer, and
I wonder if he did that just to like pad it out.
Yeah, I don't know.
We're getting into conspiracy talk
And-
now.
I mean, the guy is, at the
Deleting
same time, we know the guy
Yeah,
is a
deleting tweets.
performance artist.
Oh,
So, you
yeah,
know,
of course.
Even in serious cases like this, I wouldn't be surprised if, he wanted to do random weird-ass shit.
Yeah.
So, I think, the saddest thing about it all is how much it doesn't surprise me. You know? Like, the discovery that, this person playing this insane weird-ass character who was willing to, was in this whole project, made it spill out into real life, actual record label publishing it, actual tours with all of this stuff, and, trying to stay in character in the interviews and everything, and never admitting this is a project, and everything like that, The discovery that person actually is an insane, controlling, abusive person, the fact that that's not actually that surprising is the saddest and most heartbreaking thing of it all. Because you want to go, okay, yeah, this guy's such a great artist who's really good at making this weird ass little lore basically.
It's at this point that I have to stop whatever we're talking about, just do a hard, complete stop. Because at this point in the recording process, our landlord started mowing the lawn outside, and it bled horribly, terribly, awfully into our recording. It's just one of those things you really can't avoid. I was toying with the idea of cutting this entire section out, but I really, really liked what we were talking about. So that being said, if you don't mind a little lawnmower background noise, horribly intrusive, horribly bad to listen to, continue listening. Otherwise, here is the time on screen if that's not something you're okay with. I completely understand, like I said, just something we couldn't really control. All right, here we go again.
But then you want him to be an actual cool person, and when it's oh yeah, no, he's genuinely not, you're oh yeah, I guess that makes sense, and then you're just really sad. So
I see we've been invaded by the lawnmowers.
well, that's a lawnmower.
So how much do you think that Poppy has played in this part? There's a lot of people who think that, Titanic is making her do all these things. Or
that's
how
a good
much do
question.
you think that she is being that vengeful girlfriend? I don't know if they're dating, but
Sure.
if she's
I know what you're
acting
saying.
on that part. Because she knew Mars Argo at one point in her life. They've met before.
They
I
have.
don't know how much she knew about their relationship, or if she watched the videos. I don't know how much she knows about that, but this is her partner now, and so obviously she's gonna take his side, I guess, is what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying.
But I don't know how much she willingly contributed to, because she went to that school in California to
Sure,
study
sure,
Japanese,
sure.
which is where Mars Argo was going, and
Sure.
they kind of kicked her out of that and kind of did things
Yeah.
together,
Yeah,
and it's something that Mariah didn't have to participate in.
I understand what
So
you're saying.
that's kind of the big debate, is how much did she actually contribute to this revenge plot against Mars Argo?
That's a really good question. I haven't actually thought about that aspect of it.
I imagine that she probably has voluntarily done a lot of stuff, it's not it's not Titanic straight up being all oh yeah, you gotta be a dick to Mars Argo or else I'm gonna shank you and everything. But when her main knowledge of Mars Argo, her main repeated perspective of Mars Argo is gonna come from Titanic Sinclair. So yeah, she might genuinely be of the opinion, because people turn on people just because their friends told them to, or their friends were all yeah, I don't like that person, and that sort of thing. So I feel she might be voluntarily being bitchy towards Mars Argo, while at the same time, only really knowing Mars Argo as oh yeah, Titanic's ex-girlfriend who's being a total bitch right now, that sort of thing.
Strictly legally speaking, I mean, you can't argue that she's complacent. But
Yeah, because there's at some point where she knows that she was doing something wrong. 'Cause
sure.
She was really young when she met Titanic and had kind of a mildly successful YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And he kind of offered her a way to be bigger than what she was. And so
Yeah.
obviously she would take that, but I don't... Maybe she didn't know what she was doing at the time, and it was maybe too far
Yeah.
into the deal to kind of back out.
I
or
could see that.
Maybe he demonized Mars Argo for her. I don't know if they were really friends or whatever.
Sure.
to
I'd
begin
argue,
with.
like, yeah, there's probably not a whole lot that can be legally said about her, just because, like,
That's the
in
thing.
the end, like,
We're talking about a court of law when it comes to like real life
mm-hmm.
human beings with emotions and
you know,
convictions and motivations.
thing is, like, yeah, like, more than likely, if, like, yeah, big legal shit happens, it's probably all gonna basically be on Titanic, because, you know, like, officially Poppy is just a performer for him. So,
Yeah. I don't really know how to segue from that.
So, what do you know about the Melanie Martinez case?
You said Millie Martinez?
Melanie Martinez.
Melanie Martinez.
I'm guessing you don't know who that is.
I don't.
I don't either, so.
So it was another kind of racy celebrity thing.
Mm-hmm.
So we're supposedly she raped one of her best friends. You've never heard of this? Like never.
Never, ever.
Okay, so
Holy
Oh,
moly.
damn this lawnmower.
This fucking lawnmower!
so it's kind of old news. It was way before the Poppy case, so I think it's pretty much been decided. Yes, that's Melanie Martinez. But anyway, one of her former friends claimed that Melanie Martinez raped her, and she posted about it on Twitter, the whole story or whatever, that Melanie Martinez kind of peer pressured her into having sex with her, and it was a big rape thing, and she didn't know what to think about it because she was friends with Melanie, and then 2 years later, you know, Melanie's not friends her anymore. She kind of ditched her or whatever, and she wants to kind of ruin her reputation. And she doesn't really say that, but it kind of, the way she portrays it is
Yeah.
because she posts about it on Twitter. And
Yeah.
anyone can post,
Yeah.
oh, this person raped me on Twitter. And at first it was kind of really shocking. A lot of her fans were burning her stuff, like right off the bat. Like, I was kind of skeptical at first because, you know, like, who is this girl? Like, I never even heard of her.
Yeah. You're like me right now.
Yeah. Well, I know who Melanie Martinez is. I didn't know who the other girl was, Timothy Heller.
Oh, gotcha.
I mean, I listen to Melanie a lot. I'm a big Melanie fan. And when I heard that, I was like, what the heck is this? And I kind of looked into more of this case as the things went out, and I don't know, the more that Timothy talked about it, because she would go on Instagram Live and YouNow and talk about it. And she would want to talk about people who didn't believe her. She wanted to try and make believers out of them.
Yeah.
And just the more she talked about it, the more it seemed like lies to
Yeah.
me. She was not a very, if it is true, she's not very good at making herself look,
Yeah.
you know,
I know what
like
you mean.
true.
Yeah.
You know, she didn't take it to court or anything, didn't take any legal action.
Yeah.
And maybe she didn't feel like she could because it was 2 years ago and it was a female-female thing.
Sure.
And no one was there to, like, really be a witness case. But,
Yeah.
like, she still could have taken something,
Mm-hmm.
some sort of legal action, but she didn't. Because
see
there's
what you're
really no
saying.
proof on her side.
Yeah.
And a lot of people went through Instagram photos and was like, oh, Melanie was at a concert the day you claimed that this thing happened and stuff like that. And she's like, well, I didn't know because it was 2 years ago. I just made up a date, which seems reasonable. You know, she just like picked a random day.
Sure.
And I don't, just like, if you watch her talk about it, she just gets really like defensive when the interviewer asks, you know, like, why would you do this now? Because she's releasing her new single. And she released this statement a couple days after or before she was promoting her single. And a lot of people think, oh, she's just trying to promote her single by bringing Melanie down.
Sure.
And she, like, worshipped Melanie Martinez. Like, if you see pictures of them together, she dresses like her, she looks like her. And everyone's like, oh, she's just jealous or whatever.
Yeah.
And she even sounds like her. Like, I listened to her song. She sounds like a mix between Melanie and Dolly Parton. Like, that's what her voice sounds like, not gonna lie. And I liked it. Like, it sounds like Melanie's music. And it's kind of unfortunate this is how I hear about her, because she's got pretty good, not a bad song.
Yeah.
But I don't know, it's just weird. I was just wondering if you had heard about it, because I've kind of made the decision that I think Timothy Heller is a liar. And I don't believe it. And Melanie, the way she handled it, she made 2 statements and that was it.
Yeah.
And she's just doing her own thing.
Yeah.
It's like not really bothering her. And some people are criticizing her for that, but I think it's just because she's just trying to wash it away. Like she's like,
No, yeah,
that's
I
not gonna
understand.
stop me from releasing my movie, my second album.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just not really a big deal to her anymore. And every time Melanie posts something, this chick posts something, and all of Melanie's haters post something, it was just like she can do no right for them.
Yeah.
Like there's just no way anyone can forgive Melanie for something that may or may not have happened.
Sure.
And it's like there's like no proof that it happened.
Yeah.
And there's more evidence against it not happening than there is it actually happening. I don't know, like I used to have all these like things, but I've kind of forgotten about it because it's like I said, it's been a while ago.
Yeah.
I think pretty much you have decided either it did happen or it didn't
Yeah.
happen.
You're bringing up a lot of really good things I want to talk about.
And I don't know, like if you don't know what it is, you might just look it up and
Yeah. I'll put links here.
have something to look at
You'll
while
have
you're
your-
waiting for the poppy case to come to a close.
You'll have your own little picture here with your little fucking splash screen, and there's your link. There you go. That's for
Yeah.
you. Hooray. You're bringing up a lot of things I... Puke and blood. You're bringing up a lot of things I really want to talk about. Or no, they're just good things to, like, have a conversation about. How do you feel about separating art from the artist? Is that something you can do?
I believe so, yes.
You believe so?
Because I like Michael Jackson,
Mm-hmm.
and
I do
but
too.
I don't like the things he's done. You know,
The things-
I mean, there's a very
allegedly.
big evidence that
Yeah.
he was a child molester.
Yeah.
And now that he's dead, I think I can like listen to him. I didn't listen to him for a long while
Yeah.
that was going on, but now that he's dead, it, like I don't want to say it doesn't matter anymore, but like, you know, he's dead.
It's a moot point now.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
like I can listen to him now in peace, knowing that he's not gonna be doing these things anymore.
Yeah.
And like the Melanie thing, you know, if she did actually rape somebody, that would be really hard for me because her music meant a lot to me,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't want it to taint that.
Yeah.
And I would be better off not knowing about it.
Yeah.
And for a while it did. I couldn't listen to her for a while without thinking like, oh my god, is Melanie a rapist?
Yeah.
But now it doesn't taint it anymore. Her music still means. I mean, I think it's important to separate the art from the artist because, you know, like I said, a lot of people still do like Michael Jackson. He's still hailed as the king of pop.
Yeah.
Even though he's done all these bad things, he was still a great performer, a
Yeah.
great singer, a great dancer. It doesn't
Yeah.
change the fact that he molested little boys.
It's such a nuanced thing.
Consequently, just an example out of the ether, Bill Cosby.
Oh yeah. See, here's the thing. Like with, like, it's such a nuanced thing because, like, Bill Cosby, in my opinion, like, okay, yeah, there's a massive amount of allegations. There's a massive amount of like evidence and everything like that.
He
And-
fucking did it. Look at that smile.
And you know, Bill Cosby's like biggest.
That's his getaway vehicle.
I think part of it's like Bill Cosby's main content was about him being that nice guy.
Yeah.
His content was distinct. Like his content was not distinct from him. You know that Bill Cosby's content was about, okay, yeah, this is Bill Cosby.
Yes.
This is the life of Bill
Yes.
Cosby and everything.
Yes.
I can't take that seriously anymore.
Yeah.
Because of,
I understand that.
yeah,
completely.
because there's such a mounting amount of stuff on him. With Michael Jackson, I think it's very different because, like, with Michael Jackson, yeah, he got these allegations about being a child molester, but since there wasn't, you know, I don't want to say, you know, like, oh yeah, since there wasn't a whole lot, it didn't happen or anything, but you know, like in the end, like, I do think that, like, in the end, I think there's enough wiggle room for me to not, like, necessarily believe that, like, for me to not necessarily go, okay, yeah, Michael Jackson's a child molester, you know, because there, you know, it was a handful of allegations, you know, it was a couple, some of which were dropped, you know, that just happened to be super high profile at the time, and then the fact that, yeah, I mean, he made music, he made songs, you know, like, to me, that's a different breed of content.
Yeah.
And then when you get to, like, the director of, like, who was that one director? Like, he directed Chinatown. I know that. I forget his name.
Roman Polanski?
Yeah, him. You know, it's essentially 100%. Okay, yeah, no, he is a molester.
Yeah.
You know, like, that is something that he is, and
Squishing them together.
yeah,
Squishing my A+ cup titties together.
but yeah, that is something that he is, he hasn't even you know, he's left the country, you know, so you can't, like, yeah, it can't even be something that ends up in the court of law or anything. So you know, like, that's, like, that in and of itself is its own terrible thing. And then the fact that, yeah, it also, like, you know, like, supposedly, like, that stuff happened, like, on the sets and everything like that. So I can't take Chinatown, like, seriously as a movie.
Yeah.
You know, I would love to, because Chinatown's a great movie.
I've never heard it not compartmentalized, because that undersells it, but I've never heard it said like that. That's a really interesting perspective from both.
What do you mean, like the fact, what kind of, like, where it's like the type of content and like the context where it happens?
Yeah. Just the way that, okay, so you have Bill Cosby. You can't separate Bill Cosby the comedian from Bill Cosby. Bill Cosmo and Wanda. You can't separate Bill Cosby the man from Bill Cosby the comedian because they're the same person.
Because he tied it so much together.
Yeah, but you can separate, say, Michael Jackson the man from Michael Jackson the artist because they exist as two separate people.
Yeah, basically, that'd be how I'd like, you know, like, you know, he makes music. You know, you don't need the person attached to that to go, this is good music.
Sure.
I think with directors and, like, stuff like that for movies and everything, I think it's a bit easier to normally get it away because, like, movies are such, like, multi-people affairs. Like, I'd like to be able to tell myself that, like, okay, yeah, no, like, there was a lot of people who put effort into Chinatown and all that stuff who weren't molesters and everything, but, like, in the end, like, the sheer mounting amount of it kind of, you know, like, it's relative to me. So, you know, the massive amount of that molestation just ruins Chinatown for me. Whereas, like, say Metropolis, you know Metropolis, right? The old, like, you know, black and white movie.
Yeah.
That was, like, super big, you know, like, its writer was a straight up Nazi, like, legitimately a Nazi who, like, voluntarily joined the Nazi party and, like, was a Nazi. Whereas, like, the director of it, aka, like, the guy that we
attribute.
The guy we do that to, you know. He, like, yeah, no, when like, he straight up, like, left Germany to escape the Nazis, and, like, you know, came to the U.S. and everything. So, like, I can go, Metropolis is great because, like, the director who made it great, he was the exact opposite of the terrible person that wrote it. So I can accept that. I can go, okay, yeah, there's multiple people involved. I can't do it with Chinatown, unfortunately. I just can't. There's too much molestation, and most of what made Chinatown great, honestly, probably did come from the director. So it's like Woody Allen's kind of like that. It's like with Woody Allen's had, like, allegations forever.
Woody Allen, I don't think Woody Allen. He's a weirdo. But he's not a dangerous
that's
person.
my opinion on him.
Yeah.
And, you know, because, like, Woody Allen's had those allegations forever, but, like, they've been just shaky enough that I can in my head go, like, okay, yeah, he's still a weirdo. Like, he's still, like, there's something wrong, which I think kind of also happened with Michael Jackson. You know, Michael Jackson definitely had a weird kid thing. I don't necessarily know if it was a sexual kid thing, but he had a weird kid thing.
Yeah,
so,
he did not sleep with, like, have sex with, but slept in the same bed as children.
Yeah,
which isn't.
Yeah, Michael Jackson was definitely an odd man. But, you know, with Woody Allen, like, yeah, he there's enough, like, because I am an innocent until proven guilty sort of guy. You know, I like to stay out of these conversations usually.
Sure.
But, you know, like, I can, you know, put the allegations, you know, out of my head to enjoy Woody Allen movies. Also, partly because, like, you know, like, that. Because, like, yeah, it's not tied, like, with Bill Cosby, you know. Like, Woody Allen, he has a specific character he plays, but that's really my understanding. It's not like that is completely, like, okay, yeah, like, that is just how Woody Allen is and everything, you know. Like, Woody Allen is an amazing actor, and it's great watching him in movies and everything. And I don't think that super changes. Like, my opinion would probably change if, like, you know, we got, like, some weird ass sex tape where it turns out, like, yeah, he's fucking all the kids or some shit. You know, obviously,
I think just any.
I can't watch this.
I think just any sex tape with Woody Allen would be weird because he's a weird fucking looking guy. That's mean.
So, you know, I can still watch Woody Allen movies. I can still watch the original Casino Royale.
We'll do one more good conversation. We should probably bring it to a close. I
have been playing a new video game if you want to know my review on it.
What game is it?
It's Thimbleweed Park. It's pretty good.
Skip.
That's my review.
Let's see that.
That was the entire my review. I was like, yeah, this game's pretty good.
Okay, let's do that thing where we do, each of us says a word and we make a sentence and then we'll make something of that. Okay.
You know,
Boobies.
When
the sun. Can I say 2 words?
Sure.
Okay.
I am boobies win the sun. Your turn.
Boobies.
I am boobies win the sun. Boobies. My rubies.
That was terrible.
This is disgusting.
Where did the boobies come from?
You
What
guys.
the fuck? That completely ruined the whole sentence.
Well, fuck. I don't want to end on molestation, so we need something like something levitus.
Coral, what's your favorite TV show? Tell us about it. And tell us like your favorite weird TV show. Like, don't tell us something normie, like, you know, I like Game of Thrones or like Breaking Bad. Talk about something
Very
that like
good.
genuinely, like, I might sit down and I might be like, ooh, this is weird.
Let's all do one last final good on a good note recommendation. You can talk about it as long as you'd like, and then we
Okay.
can.
Well, my
sign.
favorite TV show is Bates Motel. I don't know if that's considered normal or not.
Now we're
but
back to the molestation.
It's not molestation. It's just good old fashioned incest. Stamp a fucking stamp on it.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough.
I just really like it.
Is it still going?
No, it's ended now.
Okay, that's what I thought.
It's all on Netflix, so you can watch the whole
Gotcha.
thing. And
I haven't
What
watched
about
all
it is
of
good?
I'm just really interested in dissociative identity disorder in general, and so that's kind of what it kind of appeals to me about it. And it's like a retelling of the Psycho story, and,
Yeah.
but it goes further back. Like the last season, like catches up to the events of the movie. So like the very first few seasons are like what kind of leads him up to that point, because he starts out like he's a good boy, he's likable, you really like kind of relate to him in some way. And you just really like Norman Bates and his mother Norma Bates. You just love them, and you're just like, oh, they're so cute. Like, and you know, you kind of go through his mind and how his psyche works, and you know, kind of how he turns from this sweet little boy to this, you know, raging psychopath, and how this other mother personality develops and tricks him into thinking, even long after his mother is dead, he still has that aspect of her and his family stuff. There's some kind of weird subplots that I don't really like. Like, they introduce his brother, and I like his brother, but there's some like kind of subplots with him that are kind of, they lead up to something kind of small. Like, his brother works for like a drug company, and the drug guy kidnaps Norman, and it fucks him up, and that's like basically the only premise for that subplot.
So it's like filler pretty much.
Yeah,
It's like
I
a
mean,
filler subplot.
it leads all that up to that, because then Dylan doesn't, his brother's name is Dylan, doesn't work for this guy anymore because he quits that life. But
Yeah.
like, it's just like, okay, so they got this whole plot where Dylan's working for this bad guy, and just to lead up to like, how does it fit in? And you're just kind of wondering, like, how does this fit in? And then it leads up to where, you know, Norman gets kidnapped and he's locked in a well for a couple of days, and he's, you know, sitting there and he's going nuts, and then, you know, the drug guys get killed by the cops or something. I can't remember what happens.
Yeah.
And then Dylan kind of is trying to, he's like really normal, like Dylan's the only normal person in the Bates family, and so
Nice.
he's trying to struggling to deal with his crazy mom and his crazy brother.
Yeah.
And he kind of leaves them for a while to get his own life, and then he's brought back in, and he's trying so hard to get Norman help. Like, he's like the devil's advocate pretty much for the last part of the season. And,
Yeah.
And some people started hating Norman after a while, but I still kind of really liked him. You know, it's just kind of, I don't know how to explain it. He's just kind of just relatable in a way. And
Yeah,
you
no, I
don't-
understand.
And like, you don't want to relate to him because he's,
Yeah.
you know, he's killing people, but you
That's
can
the thing,
understand
but
why
yeah.
he's doing it. And
Yeah.
he kills some innocent people and he kills some bad people, and
More
There's
bad
some-
people than innocent people, so it's okay.
so, and then there's people that you want him to kill that he doesn't kill, and then in the end, it's just, I don't want to spoil the ending, but it's cry fest.
It's cry fest.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, how is this gonna end? And I was like, oh my gosh, that was so intense.
Do you ever have, you said you talked about dissociative identity disorder, that's what it's called?
Mhm.
Do you ever have schizophrenia scares? I do sometimes.
Like, where you think you have it?
Yeah, because I hear things, like I hear my name, I
Oh.
look around, there's nobody there.
I guess so. I mean,
Just like,
I get really scared easily. Like,
Yeah.
if I'm alone with my thoughts, it can, like when I'm cleaning the bathrooms at work, I sometimes sit there and cry because I'm alone with my thoughts, and that's why
sorry.
it takes me like an hour to do it because I'm in there crying. And
That's
I'm like-
terrible.
I'm scared in here, and I'm alone in here, and I feel like the bathroom is the only place in the world, and I can't leave. And I just think about things that don't even happen, or I see these scenarios in my head, or
That's
these conversations.
I'm exactly the same way where I build up these like it's not constructive in the slightest, but I build up like these like situations that will never happen that I just get worked up over, like I get mad at. It could
And I get so flustered, and I'm so angry, and I'm making myself mad or making
Yeah,
myself
for no reason.
sad. And then people are like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine." just PG.
I do the same thing. I used to do it a lot more. I still catch myself doing it, and I stop myself when I can. But it's like, it sucks.
It's hard.
I need to not.
Yeah, and it
Yeah.
happens a lot of time, like when I'm doing something like that, because it'll even happen when I go. Cause I'm alone. It won't really happen when I'm with people, but.
Mm-hmm. I think one of the weirdest things about being a human is the fact that, like, social interaction seems to just be kind of like our, like, social interaction is like our weird little reset to, like, make our insanity go away for a while.
Well, it's
Because, like, the longer you're away from people, like, the weirder, like, your thoughts start to get.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, we're social creatures. We were built up to thrive. We were born and you're raised in an environment where we thrive in that kind of environment because it's the kind of environment we live in. We depend on each other. We get things from other people that we can't get from ourselves. And
it's so weird that that's so ingrained in our head. The fact that, like, it honestly, it feels like I'm not making some, like, specific, like, scientific observations, like, oh, like, I think I figured this out. Like, no, This is super simplifying, like, a bunch of complex things.
it's why
It's so ingrained in us that the further we're away from people, just it just starts setting in this insanity. Because, when people are in solitude for a long time,
that's the thing.
they go insane.
Solitary confinement is torture. It is inhumane.
It makes you legitimately go insane.
Yeah.
And it's so weird to think that that basically starts like the moment we're away from people, because when I'm around people, I'm happy, everything's good, I'm living just normal life, like if it's like nighttime, and therefore there's not a lot of people around, and I'm like in a perfectly well lit room, just like by myself having a good time, like that's when like the weird thoughts start happening. And there's nothing dangerous, nothing like crazy. I'm not talking about like that's what I'm gonna kill. That's one thing about killing Jake or anything. But that's just when I start to just kind of feel like reality itself is a bit different. Or like when I'm at work, if I'm at work and because I work a job where I do have times where I just don't have social interaction. I'm away from people for a while. That's just when all like the very weird thoughts start happening. I start like just questioning existence and everything. Then the moment someone comes and starts having a conversation with me, it's all gone. That's how ingrained that like social instinct is in humans. Like it feels like it just onsets immediately.
You can probably relate to say, like you can relate to the feeling of like who's somebody we know.
Bargain Brock.
Okay, so Brock. Head Brock was really cruel to me, and I'm mad because of it, but real Brock has done no such thing, and now I have to, like, pretend nothing's wrong.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Is that a good way to say that?
Yes.
Yeah, no, that
I know
makes sense.
exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
I have that all the time.
I do too, and it sucks. Fuck. I'm glad I'm not crazy.
But it's just weird, like, when you gave me the whole week to think about things to talk about here, I would be there thinking about things I would never even tell you. I would just imagine me saying these things, and then I would just get so, like, curl up in a little ball and die.
Oh,
and I was like, I can't say that. And then, but I imagine that I'm saying those things to you, and when I came here, like, I have nothing to talk about because I've told them everything.
Yeah. See, I think that's part of why I can't tell you anything cruel that I've done, It's just I
You've already told me at some point in your head.
probably, yeah.
So you're like, oh, you already know.
See, that's another thing I get. You probably know. God, you both fucking know. I get really nervous when I talk to people. So sometimes I rehearse conversations. Do you guys do that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah,
Okay,
definitely.
good. Glad. I'm so happy.
You know how many arguments I've won in this life?
I've had this conversation 50,000 times in my head, and I am the clear victor into it.
And then you actually try and do it, and you're like,
Someone says
can't
something
do
that... The thing is, like, yeah, you...
See, here it's perfect. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm verbose. I make a good point, and you're like, oh, that's very interesting. But I'm just like, what the fuck am I trying to say?
The thing is, when you're talking to someone in your head, this is like not necessarily arguments, just explaining things or just having conversations,
Yeah.
that sort of thing.
Yeah.
You don't, you've got full control over the narrative in your head. So
Yeah.
you know someone's gonna say hello to you in your head and everything. Maybe in like real life they're all like, oh hey, what up, dick, and that completely throws the whole thing off, even though there's really nothing different. Like that throws everything off, that's different now. Or maybe like, yeah, you expected them to like follow like one trail of conversation, and it goes into a completely different one. That obviously comes up with us for a lot because podcasts.
Yeah.
I'll be like, oh yeah, here's how this conversation I'm gonna have when we get on the podcast is gonna go, and then completely doesn't go that way. It usually goes better though. So
I'll keep thinking about the cruelest I've ever been, and I'll text you it later.
okay.
Okay.
If you don't want to say it for the whole world, that's fine. I understand. I won't judge you. I'd be like, oh gosh, Jake's evil.
Jake's a
We
little,
can't be friends anymore.
Jake's a little baby boy with his fucking.
But I just think about I cannot see him in an unpure way. Like even when I listen to your podcast and you're talking about wanking and stuff, and I'm like, I cannot see him in an unpure way.
Gosh, with his big blue eyes and his fucking Herald of Angels is watching me fucking beat my hard dick.
I have to skip some of those parts. I can't do it. I can't see it. I can see RJ in that way, but not you.
ooh,
Good.
I've never tried.
You will.
I
I'll
would
take it as a
hate if
compliment.
I was seen as good as Jake is seen. I would hate that.
I don't see myself as a good person.
You are seen as a good person
I don't
by
see
everyone
myself.
that knows
I
you.
make a lot of very selfish decisions.
I feel that way too. Like everyone
Yeah,
at my school,
everyone does that.
they're like, "Oh, Cora, we love you. You're so cute. We want to be your," And I'm like,
Right.
"But why? Like, why do you like me? Is
Yeah.
it do you like me, or do you like an conceptualized idea of me?"
You don't like me. You like the idea of me.
Yeah.
I get really. This is similar. If I'm throwing you off your tangent, I'm sorry. It's why I get really weird around drunk people. Like I don't drink. I DD for people a lot because
Yeah.
I'm nice.
I don't drink either, so I understand.
It's good to be a fucking beautiful loser. I've never had a drink in my life, but I get really weird around drunk people because they're behaving in ways I know they never would, and it's like nothing you're saying is genuine. You don't think these things. You don't actually see me like that.
I think drunk words, sober thoughts applies like 75% of the time.
But I can't tell the
Because
difference.
alcohol doesn't really make you think new thoughts.
Yeah, see, that's the thing.
It just takes that barrier away. So I usually after because I do a lot of drinking, and usually after I've been drinking, I usually regret the things I said if it's been a lot of drinking, which is rare, but if it happens, I usually regret the things I said, but I never really think oh yeah, how could I have said this or something like that,
Yeah.
I'm always just all oh, I guess I let that slip, that sort of thing. So it's usually genuine things. When Damien and I are at the bar, yeah, we get pretty social with each other. We start actually talking about shit that I think both of us want to talk about but never do because we're just two bros. We don't need to be heavy around each other all the time. But Damien and I don't get drunk, so
I can honestly say I see both of you. I feel like I know both of you a lot better now, and that makes me very happy. RJ, what is something that you want to recommend to us?
Oh, hey. Actually, I do have something. Old shit everyone already knows. But, I've just been listening to a lot of different Scatman John songs recently. You know Scatman John.
You're cheating on Captain Jack.
Well, no, but,
You motherfucker.
Shut up. All right. So, yeah, no, I've been... You know Scatman John, though, right?
Holy shit, you okay?
Yeah.
You at least know the song Scatman.
I know the song.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
Stuff those down your throat to catch all the liquid.
I've always known the general story of Scatman John,
Yeah.
right? I mean, for context, anyone that doesn't know about Scatman John, you know, it was some dude that like blew up in the '90s, like out of nowhere, especially in Japan. And yeah, it was just like a guy that does a lot of scatting, you know, like doing the like skitty bebop sort of like speaking.
Oh, it's the fucking.
But yeah, no, like what brought me onto like doing a whole lot of like more listening than I normally would was like I was nostalgizing over like old YouTube videos back in the day.
Yeah.
And back in the day, there was like this really weird tendency to like have Mario 64 videos that like were to the song Scatman. For no reason. I don't understand why, but it's something that I got nostalgic about. And I was on like a 4chan thread, and like someone posted like the 10th anniversary video of that sort of stuff. And like I was all like, wait, what is this? And it's just like it's a new-ish video. And yeah, it's just the 10th anniversary of one of the guys that like did that. So I was like watching this video, and it was like super weird and nostalgic for me and everything, and it was cool. And then I was just like listening to the song for a while. And again, I've always known the general story of Scatman John, but I actually was reading like all the details into Scatman John's life and everything like that. And like it's just it's really pure. Like that's the crazy thing about it, because he was a guy that was 52 before he got famous.
Yeah.
And then he died 4 years later. So like it's super sad, but like his story's genuinely good, because he's just this really like meek, stuttering guy who he like for the longest time refused to he refused to sing because of his stutter and everything like that. And then he just out of nowhere decided to started singing, and he would scat, with his so he'd turn his stutter into like the big skitty boo bop sort of like weird ass noises. And he made the song Scatman, and the song is all about overcome your challenges, all that sort of thing. So he's just such a positive dude. I've been watching old interviews of him, and it's crazy watching this this guy who's like balding, super like meek and like hunched over and shy, and he stutters when he talks and everything. And then he gets behind a keyboard and he just starts like rocking it, and I'm just all like, you are an inspiration, dude. And then it is sad, 4 years later after he got famous, after he hit that obstacle, 4 years later he died of lung cancer. So it's depressing. Yeah. So I've just been listening to a lot of his music lately.
Nice.
I highly enjoy it. So.
God, there's so much more I want to talk to you guys about, but we're probably out of time. We're coming up on 2.5 hours now, so we should probably bring it to a close.
Is that more than Corey?
That's more than Corey.
Damn.
We can do a part 2 sometime.
We can do a part. I'd love to have you back on.
There's always a part 2.
We can do fucking psychology hour part 2. We can talk about rapists and murderers and all fucking gumdrop.
Call this one part 2 and call the next one part 3. Cut out what I just said though.
This is Psychology Hour 00 Pilot in all capital letters.
No, call it part 2. Call the next one part 3. Then people are gonna wonder where the part 1 is.
No,
the lost episode.
We need 4 parts: part 1, part 2, part 3, and part core. Yeehaw! All right, plug yourself, RJ.
Hey everyone, it is me, RJ, also known as Chrome Liger. I'm going to do the thing where I list off the word Chrome Liger, but attached to a bunch of different websites. You can find me on Steam at Chrome Liger, or sometimes with brackets in front of it, like that say CNML. That's a clan tag. You remember back in the day when everyone had clan tags? But yeah, it'll be that, then Chrome Liger. Also, I'm on Twitter at Chrome Liger. My email address, where I hope that you all send me tons of criticism. Send any compliments to Jake, but send all the criticism to me.
I need that.
My email address is chromeliger@gmail.com. I've got a YouTube. It's Chrome Liger. It's where I keep the playlist for all of the Cassette Lounge videos in order. So if you ever want to watch Cassette Lounge in order, find my YouTube account, and I keep an up-to-date playlist of all of the songs. They all link back to Jake's account, so he gets views anyways. So and if you need to find me on pretty much anything else, just keep looking for Chrome Liga. It's probably me.
Do you have anything you want to plug?
I have an Instagram. I
Yeah,
guess.
plug that
Throw it
shit.
out.
It's called Blindedna. It's blind 3 DNA. So
Blind 3 DNA.
the E in Edna is a 3.
Oh, Edna,
That's what
I
I'm
get
trying
it.
to say. Like,
Okay.
Blindedna.
Got it.
The
Blinded the hedgehog.
Stolen word. Yeah. And I guess if you want to look at my deviant art that I don't ever update, it's new mistake with the E's as 3s again. That's like that's my theme, I guess. The E's are 3s. So, new mistake with deviant art. I had other social handles.
That's the name of this episode. The E's are 3s.
The E's are 3s. And that's the only things I really look at. I deleted all my other social media. I mean, I have a Facebook, but I'm not good.
Yeah, of course.
So, yeah, Blindedna and new mistake on Instagram and DeviantArt.
Thank you. Hey everybody, it's your favorite boy as always. The real reason you tune in, the boy Jake. You can always find my art portfolio at RamenShaman.newgrounds.com. Follow me on Twitter at RamenShaman. I say all kinds of crazy things.
Fine coffee is better than coarse.
Don't you fucking dare!
Your rape warning at times 2.
I'll drop that down to like
Negative 40 decibels. It'll be just fine.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. Our portfolio, RamenShaman.newgrounds.com. Follow me on Twitter at RamenShaman for all kinds of fun things. Cool art. Sweet memes. Anyway. Questions, concerns, queries, complaints, quotes, anything like that. Hit it up. RamenShamanContacts@gmail.com. Thank you very much. Mwah. All right. Outro us.
Outro?
Outro. Say something to bring us to a close.
Everybody wants to change the world, but nobody wants to change the toilet paper roll.
It's perfect.